She is so supportive. She helped me write the domestic violence practice guide for our social workers. She is so invested in moving the field of women and families along. And what I always tell people, I get a lot of calls from domestic violence perpetrators looking for the name of a program to go to. And I always end my conversations with them with, good luck with that. I hope you make improvements. You deserve to have a happy life too. So not only is our intervention on domestic violence important for women and the victims of domestic violence, but it moves men along too. And everyone deserves to have a happy and complete life. And I don't believe that you can have that when you are abusive to your partner. Your life is diminished through that kind of behavior and action. So Dr. Ganley is one of the people that has really been a major force in getting out the information about what is domestic violence. And there, like I said, there is the criminal definitions that the law sets forth. And those criminal definitions, they are broader in terms of who is affected by domestic violence, but they are also narrower in that they define it as specific things that someone could be convicted of. And as victims of domestic violence will tell you, there is lots and lots of actions that do not rise to the criminal level that are devastating to them and their lives. So we use what is called the behavioral definition of domestic violence. It goes by many names: wife abuse, marital assault, women battery, spouse abuse, wife beating, conjugal violence, intimate partner violence. In addition to those various terms or labels, there's various definitions, including that criminal and the behavioral. But the simple version of the behavioral definition, we define domestic violence by the relationship context of the violence. So it's between intimate partners, what we are talking about here, not that brothers and sisters or mothers and children don't use violence against each other, and under the law it would be determined to be domestic violence. But we're looking at that intimate partner violence where people are using coercive tactics to control one another. By the function that the abuse serves, and there is all kinds of things that people do subtly that we don't see from the outside, but they definitely send a message to the victim of domestic violence, what's going to happen to them. And most survivors can give us horror stories that we would never have seen from the outside, but that had devastating effects on them. And we're talking about the specific behaviors of the perpetrator. That function of domestic violence is to set forth that pattern of control. It's purposeful and it's instrumental behavior. It's directed at achieving compliance or from or control of that victim. So it's definitely within the context of the intimate partner relationship, and that's what we're talking about here today. So the pattern of behaviors used by perpetrators ranges, and it's not an isolated individual event, but rather a pattern of repeated behaviors. It includes physical, sexual, and psychological assaults. It may include economic control as well, and there too, we hear that from the voices of survivors, and here in this community, we had a prime example of that in the chief of police and the economic control that he used against his wife, where she was required to account for every penny, every movement, gas mileage, all of that. That was all things that under the law, that's not criminal, that you have to show me your receipts. But that is definitely coercive behavior.